Yes, we are live.
Okay, yeah, I see the live button up on top there. That's good. Okay, so I just want to introduce myself. My name is Uncle Bruce. I'm with English Brazil, and all of us are connected to English Brazil to help you guys in Brazil and other parts of the world to use your English thinking. And as we present, you can send a message to our chat, and then we can respond to your questions or your ideas, and we can further discuss things about investing because that's the topic of our discussion today. It's investing, and how do we decide what we want to invest in, and what are some common things that we need to consider. So I just want to introduce the panel tonight. We have Lee Anderson. He's in
Hey,
Goiânia. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's always hot here. There's not a cold day in the city. Yeah, they used
Okay,
to
well
say
that's
there's two suns for each person
yeesh. Okay, so then we have Chris, and Chris is in Canada, right, Chris?
Yes, hello in opposite way like Lee Anderson and always cold.
Well, it's not cold now, right? It's not cold
No, it's
now.
not. No, it's not that cold.
But
Actually,
wait,
we have
wait 1 week. Wait 1 week, and it'll be cold. It'll
yes,
be
but
good.
actually, I want to mention that a Canadian guys have a real summer. It's real
Mm.
hot. Believe it or not, to reach out 40 or even more than 40 degrees.
Well, maybe
here.
for 1 or 2 days, and then it goes back to 2 degrees. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm from that general area of the world, Michigan, and it's very crazy weather there too. And then we have Leonidas, and he is our IT specialist, and he's just making everything happen for all of us. Okay, so thank you for doing what you do, Teacher Zazelis. Okay, so we're going to start off tonight by talking about some questions that we created, and we've already kind of identified how we want to respond to help you guys to think in English. Okay, that's the purpose of this whole event is for you guys to have an opportunity to think in English. So we're going to start off with the first question, and that is a question about the economy, talking about economics. In regards to investing, where is it safe to invest? I mean, you consider that we have a problem with the government right now. We have a election happening, and there are everybody's fighting. Okay, whoops, everybody's fighting.
Yeah,
Lula and Bolsonaro. The teams are like okay, and so that causes problem in the markets for us. Okay, as investors, it's like wow, man, look at the market.
it
Okay,
does.
up and down and all around. And so you have that going on. You have the war in Ukraine with Ukraine and Russia. That's causing a lot of situations with everybody. Okay, our cost here in Brazil. So where do we invest our money? Where do we invest our money? Right now, Lee Anderson, let me start off with you. What do you think about this idea of investing during these times of turmoil?
Okay, so every time we go through uncertainty in the market, we tend to look for safer investments. Okay, so that would be like fixed income investments, talking about government bonds. We are talking about gold. Those are the way out of uncertainty. Also, the dollar, because it is the international currency that we like, most of the world base is based on the dollar value. So as soon as we get uncertain in a certain part, for example, in the country, we have election, right? So we get uncertain. What happens is our currency devalues; it loses value, which makes the international currency better, the dollar better. So we tend to invest on overseas, make overseas investments, invest on the dollar itself, in gold, and fixed income returns. Those are the best investments for times of uncertainty.
Okay. And Chris, can you add something to that about where we might want to invest during these times that are tumultuous, they're like crazy. Where's a good place to invest or think about investing?
So, so when you start to think about this uncertainty, as you mentioned, it's bring to me like diversification.
Mm,
It's coming to me like not put all your money in just all your eggs just in one
Basket.
basket. So, and is I think is the best way that you kind of spread in your money in different assets in a way that when you need you are able to to get this money back, to choose the best option for you without any losses.
hmm
This is my idea. So I also I'm agree with Lee Anderson. We have any opportunities to kind of protect your gain, like in foreign currencies and like gold and something like. In my opinion, the solid investment is real estate, but I know this another is good options too.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So the idea is to diversify, I hear, okay, diversify and to look for risk, low risk during these times of uncertainty in the markets. Okay.
Yes.
And in regards to investing in things like gold, is that a good investment? Gold?
Yes. It always has been a runaway because it became a general idea. It became this general concept that gold is safe.
Mhm.
Before, like years ago, we had the gold as a guarantee of a country's economy. So we would bring money as we would gather metals. It's
Mhm.
not the case anymore, but it became this standard of value. Gold is something solid that will always increase in value because it decreases in abundance in the world. So it is a general concept. We have
Okay.
steady growth of the market value of gold, and in times of crisis, it gets higher.
Yeah, so precious metals have been a way to try to stabilize your investment, if you can say that, okay?
Yeah,
Through precious metals such as silver, titanium, um, chromium, some very important metals. And I know that China has invested a lot of money in these metals in Bolivia. Bolivia gave them a contract for I don't know how many years, probably 20 years or more, to mine the precious metals in Bolivia. So China is very smart, man. They're smart about where they want to buy. I know that they're buying a lot of farmland in the United States. There's a
yeah,
big concern about that. So, investments can be of all sorts. And when you get into national level investments, that's a different ballgame. But we're talking more about private and personal investments. And so we're looking what we can do to minimize our risk and to diversify in the best way so that we have a more stable amount of money being invested and the return comes in a stable manner also. Okay? And so the idea then is to diversify and to look for things that are not risky. And so,
yes.
do you guys have any further comments about that?
I also want to add that gold is a kind of a different investment because when you talk about currency or dollar, euro, or even though shares of enterprise or something like that, gold is the only way that has value itself. So gold, it's gold is the same money. So gold value in Brazil, in China, whatever you go with a gold, it value itself. And if you look back at the history, you're gonna see a kind of increasing, and in time of crisis, the people tend to go to things like has value itself. So, for example, if you buy a share, it can value money today, but not tomorrow. If you buy a like money from another country, like Argentina, for example, can value today, tomorrow, not anymore.
Not so good, huh? Not so
Yeah,
good.
but
Okay, let me ask you a question. I want you to ask a personal question. You don't need to answer, but I think it's interesting. How many gold bars do you guys have?
None.
None.
We don't need to buy gold bars to invest in gold. We can buy the certificates. It's the
That's
same.
true. That's true. But it's interesting to have a gold bar or a gold coin. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
it is
cool.
a cool thing to have, but I lose stuff, so I cannot have this type of things around the house. I
No,
lose
it's not a good
everything.
idea.
It's
Not
not
a good
attached to my
idea.
body.
Okay, so let's go on to the next topic. What about cryptocurrency? Is cryptocurrency something that you find interesting, that you like to invest in, to trade stocks in cryptocurrency? What about that,
What do you say,
Chris?
Chris?
so it's it for me. I don't believe that much in this kind of investment. I think it's a kind of game. So actually, I have some money there, but just for
Ah,
play, you know.
so you invested in that.
Yeah. So, but it's not. I not even consider it like investment. I
Uh,
consider like a play. You know, I put my money and
like
can
poker.
disappear or can
Uh,
go up. So, but
so you
you
have
know,
maybe 100 the eyes in that.
no, I think it's 10,000 reais, but just for play. You know, maybe I can
That's
be
like playing
rich one
poker,
day.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like a play poker. Exactly.
Oh, you guys should go to the casinos when you get a chance. Go to Las Vegas. It's cool, but
Yeah.
it's not a place you want to bring a lot of money. You just play a little bit just to see what it's like.
Chris is like, I don't believe in cryptocurrency, but what if it makes me rich? So I have some.
Well,
Definitely. Yeah, everybody talk about that. Why
Yeah,
why not have at least, a small portion of money
mhm,
there?
makes
mhm.
What
sense.
if, you know?
What if? Yeah.
Yeah,
What
makes
if you
sense.
invest in Apple 30 years ago or 20 years ago? Apple computer. What if you had the investment of $10,000 then? How much would it be now? Probably $1 million or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, but we try to have a crystal ball. We try to understand the best we can. So what about you, Lee Anderson? Cryptocurrency? Yes or no?
Yeah. I don't like it.
You don't
Actually, the
like it either.
situation is, yes, the situation is, I am a professional investor. I invest for a living. So I cannot rely on something, on a type of investment that doesn't have regulations, because it can give me high returns, but it can be moved by individuals or by institutions, and they can do it deliberately without no regulation. And we saw this happening a lot of times. Elon Musk did this a lot of times. I'm selling Tesla with cryptocurrency. I'm not doing it anymore, and he can do it every time he wants because there's no regulation. So I cannot rely on this. I
Mhm.
also have cryptocurrency. I received the payment as cryptocurrency. I have Ethereum, but I never negotiated it, never exchanged it for dollars or nothing. It just stays there. I don't keep track of it. It doesn't matter much to me.
Mm. But there are some people that do it like you guys do investments. They do investments in cryptocurrency almost exclusively, okay? Because they
Yeah,
believe in it. They believe in it.
and they make a lot of money. A lot of people make a lot of money with it.
Mm.
That's a fact.
Hmm.
And but to be honest, I have a bad experience with cryptocurrency these days here.
Hmm.
Here in Canada, we have a score, a credit score, and they take it as seriously. So if you have, a good score, you can have access to cheaper money. And then I hired a company to track everything that goes bad in my score named Equifax,
Hmm.
and they send me a message that my email was found in dark web and negotiate cryptocurrency, you know
Oh my god.
And
Crazy,
then
man.
it's impact negatively my credit, and I still trying to get rid of this problem. And
Delete it. Change the email address. Like get a new one.
Yeah.
oh yes, but here they have basically 3 points of contact with you. So they have
Oh,
your email, your phone number, and a kind of SIM number. This is a kind of CPF that you have in Brazil. So
I know.
basically the 3 things. And when you altered one of them, it's looks like management or what's going on. Why you change your
Yeah, but I
email?
think it's a good idea to change the email address in your system inside of Canada because everybody has this right to change their email.
Yep,
They do.
yep.
So don't be
They
afraid
suggest
about
me
doing
to.
that.
Yeah, they
So you
suggest me to change
lost
my.
your password. Yeah, lost your password. I lost my password. Need a new one. That's why I changed it.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, it's the same in the United States. They have Equifax, TransUnion, and another one. I don't remember, Speria, I think. And they are tracking your credit all the time. And they give a credit report to banks when you want to get a loan for a house, a car, whatever. They give the report to the bank because you have to authorize it, and then they give the credit score to the bank, and then they analyze it and say, oh, what's this and what's that? And then you have to answer all the questions to these people. It's like, man, so I understand what you're going through, and if you can, try to change that as soon as you can because then it starts tracking a new level of your credit. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, Leonidas, do you have any questions? Any comments so far? Your microphone there.
Yeah. I'm just curious about living in Canada.
Ah.
That's you know that I'm planning to go to Canada.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, I am the enthusiastic here. I strong recommend to everybody come here. By the way, there is a lady from English Brazil that I'm trying to help her to come here. I just arranged a job interview to her.
Wow.
I hope that is gonna be okay. But back to just to talk a bit in our subject here, the money here value more. You know, as long as we talk about money, the
Mm-hmm.
money here, I always comparing. For example, how many hours do I have to work to buy
Mm-hmm.
a new car? How many hours do I have to work to buy a picanha, for example? And for example, here I have to work less than half hour to buy a kilo of picanha. Can you believe that? So,
Oh, that's crazy.
and for example, and to be honest, I'm not higher position because I just started here. I don't have a Canadian experience yet. I got a promotion, but my wage is not that big. But to be honest, for example, the Brazilian nuts, Brazilian nuts. How can you?
Pará?
How can? Huh?
Pará?
Cas-
Yeah,
Castanha do
yeah,
Pará.
castanha do Pará. Yeah, Brazilian
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, yeah.
It's cheaper here. If you do, even though if you convert, it's cheaper here. We spend about a $10 to buy a kilo of Brazilian nuts. So in Brazil, I
No,
used to.
ten
Here's
dollars is
a
a lot.
here's
Ten
a
dollars
hundred
is a
something.
lot.
Here's 100 something. I'm pretty sure it's 110, 120.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
so in Brazil,
about that.
I would
100.
spend $20. Here,
Yeah.
I spend $10. It's
Ah, yes, I see what you're saying.
so
Yes.
I say the money here values a lot. So
Yeah.
Cool, 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 cool. Okay, so the next topic I want to talk about is talking about like um, have an emergency fund. Like Chris, you were talking about how much do I need to work to get what I need in my life. You have a presentation. Let's look at that a moment.
Can you
Who's controlling the presentation?
can you put it on, Leon?
There
Oh,
we
there you
are.
go.
Okay, so
next
Chris, why
one,
don't you tell us what this is? Abundance.
abundance. So in my mind, I just it's a kind of a concept from a guy named Laí Ribeiro, you know, and he creates this concept like if I stop working now, how long is gonna take until I starving to death? So how much money I have if I stop working now? I have to to sustain to buy food or to
Mhm.
live.
Mhm.
So and I think you have to think about that in order to build your net worth.
Mhm.
And then the first thing that I start to think is to create a kind of inventory. For example, let's suppose how much money you have, how much investment you have, if you have a house, if you have a mortgage, if you
Mhm.
have a assets and liabilities, and then you're gonna realize how much money you made until now. Obviously, you have to consider your age, you know, and because there is a curve that you have to to draw, because day by day you're going to make money, make money, spend money.
Mhm.
But as long as you gain more than you spend, you're going to create
That's
a
the
good.
object. Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes.
And let's
Yes.
go to the next slide. So having an emergency fund.
Yes, this one is a very interesting point in my point of view, because uh, everybody want to talk about investment,
Yeah.
but before that you have to create your emergency funds. Otherwise, you're gonna lose money in the
Mm.
middle way. It's gonna be frustrating for you. I have this kind of experience that I wanna share with you. I didn't know this kind of a concept like emergency funds. I wanna share with you. I went to a bank, and then the manager said, "Okay, let's put money here in uh, previdência." How can I say
Like
previdência?
savings?
No,
Yeah,
Savings?
it's like the retirement savings, like a fund that you do for retirement.
Oh, okay.
yes, but actually, uh, don't take me as bad, but I think he sold this product because it's profitable for a bank and
Mhm.
profitable for for him.
No,
But this
that's
is,
obvious.
yeah, this is it lock out, it's block your money for long,
Mhm.
and then I put my money there, and when I have to take it out this money because I have a emergency, I lost 35% of
Yeesh.
my principal money, of my.
Mhm.
Can you believe like that? i i,
Yes.
I haven't built my emergency fund.
Mm.
So nobody, I didn't have this kind of a knowledge that I should have a money in kind of fast liquidity.
Mhm.
And I saw many people trying to try to put money in stock market without an emergency fund. This is
Mm.
bad idea, just because if you buy even though you buy a good share like a Petrobras, or good banks or whatever, if you have an emergency situation, like if you lose your job, or if you have a, I don't know, how can I say, if you have a doctor emergency, health
Yeah,
issues or
medical
something.
problem.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
you're gonna lose your money because you have to, I don't know, sell your house for cheaper price. Maybe sell or make like I have to take it to withdraw my my money, and then I lost more than I put. So it's it's so sad. You have to
Mhm.
get
Yeah.
a good orientation. And I kind of make an presentation, because you have another slide that
Mhm.
we talk a little bit about how can you create. Yeah,
Okay.
is I think it's gonna be in the part that how can, let's check here. So yeah, inventory, I would say. So
Yeah.
I wanna talk a little bit about this, because in order to create a in order to create a emergency
Emergency
fund, you
fund.
have to know how much is has to be, how big has to be, because you have to calculate how much you spend at daily bills like a power bill, housing, water bill, like how can I say what else? I would say your mortgage or your rental, the kind of expenses that you cannot live without.
Mm-hmm.
And and after that, you're gonna see how much. For example, let's suppose that you spend 3,000 reais for a month. You have to multiply it for 6 months or 12 months. It's a kind of a time that give you a time to gain another job, to create another money somehow, you know.
Yep.
And this is my idea. And yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
So the idea here, you're talking about liquidity. It is a very important topic. Uh, we don't have this kind of education in Brazil, so it seems a lot of it seems very surreal for us to take like, oh, if I spend 5,000 a month, I will save 60,000 because it's 5,000 times 12. It seems so surreal, so unreal for us, but it is needed because at some point, just like I said, there are some things that happen we don't have control over. We lose our job, we have a medical emergency, a lot of things. You're not able to work anymore. So this is a minimum that we should have before any investment, before anything. You have to be ready for something bad. We pray for good, but we expect the bad sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd be on a fast liquidity fund. A lot of accounts these days, they checking accounts. They have these daily liquidity, and it gives you 100% of CDI a year.
What is
So every
CDI?
day, CDI is an index we use here.
Okay.
Is
In
a
Brazil?
It means Certificado de Depósito Interbancário. Is the transactional fee, transactional rate that they use, and it generates this income every day in your account, and is ready to go whenever you need. You don't need to take like, for example, the stock market. If you sell a stock today, it takes 2 business days to come to your power, so you can use it. If you
Mm-hmm.
buy a house, we don't even know how long it will take for you to sell it back. Then you have to make an emergency measure. So that's the idea of the emergency fund. We have to do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay.
Yep. A
Very good
friend
point.
a friend of mine just experienced something like that because he has a health insurance, and his wife were pregnant, and and was everything was going on. But when she gave a birth, the something went wrong with the health insurance, and the hospital said, okay, your insurance not cover this kind of a procedure, and you have to pay, I think, 5 or 10,000 reais. I don't know how much, but it was a kind of a, it's hitting him like a wrecking ball, you know. And in that case, we have to discuss in judge or whatever, but that money has to appear somehow. Do you understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yes.
if you don't have this kind of a money, you're in trouble. You
Mm,
are definitely in trouble. And anyway, and also emergency fund is not, to take vacation. Is not
Yeah.
for a, like expense. Okay, let's take it because it's kind of a protect. I would say emergency funds like insurance is kind of a protection that is going to protect your goods. It's gonna protect you from have you. It's gonna prevent you to sell your apartment for a half price, or
mhm.
have you ever tried to sell a real estate fast? You, you know,
Yes.
it's not that easy.
Good. In the next slide here, this is kind of the idea that you created too, right?
Yes, because sometimes, as Leanderson said, when you talk about, let's take this example as Leanderson mentioned, and let's suppose it's 6,000 reais. You say, wow, it's a lot of money, and how can I make this money? So I think the first thing that we mentioned is the inventory. You take a close look in your bills. Maybe you're gonna
Mhm,
realize that you're expending money in something that you don't need.
mhm,
Maybe you have a something that you have some agreements with a company that you don't use anymore. By any chance you paying the bills due the date, maybe you can review instead of pay interest for a bank. You
mhm.
can save this money. Another option that you have here, can you reduce anything that is going, you know is you expand but you don't use. By any chance, maybe you have two cars. Do you need two cars, two
Yes,
insurance in a
two
year?
cars, a motorcycle, a boat, and a snowmobile. Do you need all that? Well, the snowmobile you do. Chris, you need it. You don't have
Oh,
a
we're selling the
choice.
cars, but we gotta keep this snowmobile, baby.
Yeah, because when it gets so deep, you can't use a car. You need a snowmobile, man. It's
For
Yeah.
crazy.
sure.
Yeesh.
Yeah, we have something that you really need, yeah,
Mhm,
but some things sometimes you don't need, and also, can maybe you can quit bad habits, something, you
mhm,
know can you cook at home? Maybe can you, instead of you have a snacks outside, maybe you can save
mhm,
some money, and then you build something that is going to be very important for you. So
mhm.
because when you need money fast, we have, I don't know this name in English, when you go to a lender, money is too fast. I don't
Shark
know.
along.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Loan shark, loan shark.
Loan shark. Yeah, I always get this messed up. It's loan
Well, it's
shark.
it's a it's a shark loan too.
Yeah, it is a shark loan from a loan shark.
Yep, yep.
uh,
So yeah, you pay a lot of interest on that, and you have some very high penalties if you don't pay it. They're going to come and kill you or something in the mafia.
Yeah, they take your
Precisely.
refrigerator. Like,
Yes, and I don't know. Is there are many ideas? By any chance, can you make some overtime? Can you
Mhm,
create another take 1 or 2 hours in order to create your emergency funds? So
mhm,
it's kind of idea to have a health financial life. You know.
mhm. Yep, good. And what's the next slide there?
So uh,
So then we talk about retirement, huh?
yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody wants stopping, work one day,
I don't.
and
me
No, I
neither.
will, I will continue to work all my life. As long as I can work, I will work. And it's not
Yeah,
what I do now with English Brazil is fun. Okay, it's a lot of work. It's a little bit uh, difficult at times, to do some of the things I do, but I like it because I'm helping people, and that's what I like to do. So I can do this the rest of my life.
yes, but for example, you are not obliged to do that. I
Right,
think is
right.
this is the it's very good when you have this option.
Yes.
I can work, or if I don't work. I'm gonna work.
I
So
have a brother. I have a brother. He just retired in the United States, but he says I can't quit. They keep calling me. He's an electrician, and he's had a company for years, 20, 30 years, and they keep calling. I said, man, they keep calling me. Okay, well, just tell me you can't do it then. He's, I'm not.
he wanna hear the calls. My
Yeah,
dad is
well,
just like
he
this.
likes
My
money. He
dad,
likes to make money, but still.
yeah, my father, he would be mad at the house because they would call him 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every time he had to go to the company, and then he would be mad that they would call, but he would be pissed if they didn't. He'd be like, "Nah, it means
Uh,
that they don't need me anymore." I'm like, bro, stop this, man. Come on.
but
yeah.
it's a good question. How much do I need to retire? That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Okay.
Yes, and also here in Canada, the people used to do like that. They work a whole life until they got elderly. They got some age that they don't want to work anymore, or they are not able anymore, and then they sell the house they built for along this his life, and then they use that money to to retire, to add to his income monthly that they receive from the government. And it's kind of strategy that the people use to have a better quality of life. And so for but is that just an example that you can start to think when you're gonna want to retire. Let's suppose it's gonna be 65 years or 70 years or whatever, and then you have an idea like how much money you have to save, how much money you have to make until
Mhm.
you build this how would say this abundance, uh, this money that, and for you're gonna be able to stop working if you decide to.
Okay, good, good, good. Any
Yeah.
comments, Lee Anderson?
Oh, I don't know nothing about retiring. I'll be the same. I'll be working until I cannot anymore, and then you
Yeah,
use my
yeah.
emergency fund. You do whatever with this other.
But in Brazil, there's a fund that you pay into, right? Or the employer pays for you.
Oh, this
If
is
you're,
horrible. Yes, this
it's not
is.
good, huh?
Yeah, no, we call this INSS. Is that what it is? I think it is
Hmm.
INSS. So you pay that, and it funds your retirement, and then you get a minimum wage, a minimum salary throughout your retirement. But
Hmm.
we cannot do anything with one minimum.
Well, your minimum salary now is about 1,400, something like that, right?
I think it's 1,200. You
Twelve
cannot
hundred.
do. Yeah, you cannot do anything with this.
Well, it's because we live at a different level
Yeah.
of expenditures and incomes. But the
Yes.
average person, if they are on a minimum salary now and they get a minimum salary in their retirement, it's kind of okay. But for those who are professionals, their salary is, at least 3,000, if not like 10,000 every month. And so a minimum salary is like, okay, what am I going to do with this?
and
I'm
and
dying.
also
That's it.
and also is not is much worse than that, because um is not guaranteed that you're going to receive that money,
Oh
because
God.
they keep change the rules between the game. So
Uh,
okay, it's not
Yeah.
60 anymore, it's 65, it's not 65 anymore, you have
the
to
United States did that
contribute.
too. They raised the retirement age. I think it's 70 for the people who are in the workforce now, entering the workforce. They cannot retire until they're 70. I retired at 62. Okay, so I
Yeah.
retired a couple years ago, and I plan to live a long life. So the system's going to pay me a lot of money over the time, but it's still not that much money. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not a lot of money, but it's money. And here in Brazil, it goes farther because of the dollar and real exchange.
Yeah.
The exchange
I'd
rate.
like to add too that it's not that I don't think about retiring. Like I don't think about my future. No, I invest until for the time that I won't be able to work
Hmm.
anymore. But I don't think about stop working. Oh, when I turn 6, no, I can't work until my wheels fall off. But I
Yep.
still have the funds to fund it when it's time to do it.
Right.
This
Right.
is very important. We have to have this.
Hmm.
And I just want to mention that when you look at this amount of money, if you divide, and say, okay, I need, let's suppose, 1 million reais, uh, and you say, wow, it's a big money, this big amount of money. But if you day by day you think about that, save money, invest, okay, that let this grow, you know, and this big thing is gonna be small portions. You're gonna save, you're gonna create value, you're gonna invest whatever in good companies or buy properties or whatever. One day, when you got older, maybe you have different priorities. Instead of work, maybe you're gonna spend time with your family or grandchild or whatever,
Mhm.
you're gonna have this option to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. And so the other well, what's this diversification? Oh, you talked about diversification. So this is what you wrote down as to what you believe is a good mix, right?
Yes. So if you make a research in Google, this number is gonna be different to each person, But for me, in my personal experience, we have to allocate no more than 60% in real estate, no more, And I have a experience before I moved to Canada that my money was a lot of money in real estate, and it take longer until I get rid of everything that I need in order to move here. And I really had to get rid of everything because, you know, when you move to real to dollar, you divide your money. You know what I mean? So, and then your power of acquisition is not that big, is way shorter here. Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I have to get rid of them to buy here, and then you sell houses for real and buy house here for dollar 4 times more, and then so it's good if you have a diversification. And my idea, 6% for houses, apartment, lots, land is is a good
So
amount.
would you say stock shares, high risk and stock shares? That's talking about investing in corporations, right? Like General Motors, Apple, something like that. Five
You
percent.
five, yeah, 5% high risk, yeah, stock share, yes, yes. I
Okay.
think this is a pretty good amount money off you put in risk, you
Okay.
know. And I would say you have to have a foreign currency, dollar, and for me it was very important because before I moved here I have a dollar, so helped me a lot when I
Mhm.
got here. And
Mhm.
if you have a savings like mutual funds, low risk, 20% is going to be a kind of a caution, a precaution for you, can save you in difficult times. I also want to remember that COVID came like a wrecking ball in Brazil, you
Yeah.
know and if you don't have liquidity, I would say, I don't know,
Liquidity. Yeah.
liquidity, so you're having trouble.
Yes. Yes. Being
Yeah.
having liquid assets is very important. Real estate is not a liquid asset. It takes a
You
long
can
time to
you
sell.
yeah, you can invest in real estate funds actually.
True.
Um, yeah, and they are liquid and they pay you even, and I think they are even better than having real estate these days because
Mm,
the first point is the liquidity. You have this money. I think it is one business day. Some I think it is one business day after you sell it, or in the same day that you sell it, and they are being managed by very professional people. They are
right. Right.
malls, hospitals,
Mhm.
graveyards. They have a lot of different real estate that you cannot buy by yourself. If you're a
Mhm.
common, if you're a standard, citizen, you cannot buy a mall by yourself, but you can still have shares of it and get the benefit of it, get the rental
Mhm.
amount, get the increase in the assets. So it is you're still investing in real estate. It's just different, you
Okay,
know.
now I know that you guys are investors. You do your own thing. Okay, you
Yeah,
decide, you research, you find what you want, and then you say, okay, give me this, and you do the trading online with the company. But what
yeah.
about hiring a company to do that for you and giving them a percentage or something? Would that be okay? Um, I don't know. In Bovespa, you have many different companies you can invest in,
Yeah.
but there are companies like Merrill Lynch is one. Charles Schwab is another. There are many. Pioneer. I know of many American names.
Yeah.
Vanguard. That you can invest through them, and they are the ones that manage your fund. But they are the ones that are showing you this is how much you invested, This is how much money you own today, and this is our management fee. But do you guys recommend that, or do you recommend to do like you do, which is you do the research and you invest direct, and you don't worry about the middleman? We call the middleman.
Yeah.
What
Well,
do you think?
that's a situation. I am a professional investor. I do this, so it's the same job that they are doing. I would do, so I wouldn't pay them 2 and 20. We call them
What
2 and 20.
about somebody like me that does not invest yet, and I want to start investing? Do you recommend that I spend hours to learn the kinds of things that you
Exactly.
learn, or to
If if you
take my money to a company?
if you have a different job, you have to focus on that. I recommend 100%. You get a fund to manage your money and put it on risk, especially the ones that have risky features. The stocks, you have stock funds. They have great performances. They've been having great performances throughout the years, and they will charge you 2 and 20 or 1 and 10. I mean, the administration fee is 2% and 20 off the profits above market. And it varies, but still, they have great performances. They might get a red, for example, negative balances, months, semesters. It doesn't matter, but you would have the same too, pretty much, because they are professionals. They do this. So if they have negatives, you would. So let them manage this part, at least this part. Fixed income returns, like the saving, the mutual funds, the low risk. It doesn't take a lot to learn. So I think you should do that by yourself. Find your own bonds to invest on, find your own accounts to put your money in, because this is simple. It doesn't take a
Okay.
lot of know-how and knowledge to do this. So I
Okay.
believe it could work like this.
Okay, Chris,
Uh,
comments?
in my case here, uh, due to the fact that I don't know nothing about Canadian stock market, I decide, to put my money in mutual funds in a solidly recognized institution here in Canada. And I have a appointment with the advisor, and they kind of make my suitability, my profile, and they check, okay, how much risk you want to take, or low, medium, right? And then I kind of delegate to them. I choose. We have a talk together, and we find out a opportunity investment that it sounds attractive to me, but and then I decide to do that.
Okay.
Uh, but I just want to know, even though in both way, if you decide to invest your money by yourself, or if you delegate this kind of responsibility, it's not exempt yourself from the accountability. I just want to
Yeah,
say that, for example, you choose a guy, but each month you have to check, you have to make an appointment. Okay, what's going on with my money? Is going good, is going bad? Make your voice heard. You have to pay attention, because if you just uh, give to them and forget about, maybe you have a very bad surprise.
Okay. Okay. So I want you to tell me the stock that I should invest in tomorrow to make $1 million.
none. Ha.
Show me your crystal ball. What do you
Uh,
guys see today? I mean, as you're investing now, what do you see in the stock market, in the investment arena?
Man, especially in our stock market, since we have the election next weekend, I'm making no moves. I'm not doing anything. Uh, I went through the first term with my portfolio. I still have my shares through the first term of the presidential election. I had to make a protection for this portfolio. It cost me a lot. I have a counterbalance. So if my stock would go up, this counterbalance would go down. But still, I had to cut the losses from this counterbalance and let my stocks go up. If my stocks go down, eventually my counterbalance would go up, They had different dynamics in the market.
Mhm.
But I
Mm.
spent this money to make the protection in the first turn, and then it took me a week, and I was like, you know what? It is already November. Like November is about to start. Why am I trying so hard? Let it go. I just sold all my stocks, and it was a great timing because after that the stock market started going down. But
Mhm.
it is a lot of uncertainty. We cannot
Mhm.
say anything like I'll invest in this. If you say that, you are allowed to say that you shouldn't go. You know,
Yes.
you're allowed to say
Very good.
whatever. You shouldn't.
Hey, Chris, you got a gold? You got a crystal ball to tell us about?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same way like the advisor these days saying maybe it's going up, maybe it's going down, or probably it's gonna be up and down like laterally.
Wow,
Bro,
that is so
that is
wise.
study years to say that.
So, but I
Okay.
have my personal opinion. You know,
Yes.
if you have a money that you don't need, you don't need right now, you don't need for in 2 4 years. You know, give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Leonidas, what do you think? Microphone.
So I try to invest using buying some mar- uh, shares,
Stocks. Yeah,
some
stocks.
stocks,
Hmm.
and saving account. But nowadays I don't have that money, so
Well,
so
hopefully you have your.
I sold almost everything.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I know my brother's. He invested in marijuana stocks in the United States,
That's great.
and it hasn't done that good. He thought it would go crazy high. Very high because everybody's buying marijuana in the United States now. It's totally legal,
They've
and
been buying.
so I don't know. The stock didn't do well, so he just said, "Ah, forget it."
Yeah.
So
Let me give you guys a tip about stocks. Every time you start listening about a certain investment, it's not the time to go in, it's the time to
it's
leave.
too late.
Yeah, it's already too late. These people are just boosting their own position because
Uh,
they control the big media and they let you know, oh, let the population know it's time to buy this. And then the
yeah,
population buys it, they leave. So
yeah,
this is like this. Like people been making a lot of money from weed, from weed plantation, weed stocks in the US, but it's been a long time they've been getting this money. These
yeah,
days it gets saturated because everybody's
yeah.
doing it,
I
you
can
know?
tell you my observation is during an election year, the stock goes high and then it comes down.
Yeah,
So, like after the election, it goes up for about 3 or 4 days and then whoop, then it goes down. So,
exactly.
that's interesting to know that you can invest in something now, you can ride the market and then wait for it to peak when you think it's going to peak, and then you sell it before it goes down. So that's an observation I have about investments
Yeah.
around the election time. So that's basically. Oh, this was an interesting idea. It's way cheaper to take care of your health rather than repair it. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
Eat
This is good.
nutritious foods. I mean, nutritious foods cost more money. You know, the vegetables and the fruits in the United States are very expensive compared to junk food, chips, potato chips, all the junk that you can eat, donuts, cookies. It's much cheaper to buy the cookies and donuts than it is the fruits and vegetables, but it's not that much more to buy good food and to eat good food to have good health.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's a very good idea there, Chris.
Yes, I realize that I, I take my family as example. My father has have to increase the payment for health insurance because day by day he's got kind of I would say condition, and So if you don't need to expend that much money in health insurance, you have more money to, to enjoy yourself. And I would say nobody has money to repair its health. Nobody has. It's impossible. It's cost more than we can imagine. So another day was there is like a driver for a fast car driver who got a problem accident. I think he spent all his fortune in medicine and
Oh, maybe you're talking about Schumacher. I think it's Schumacher,
yes, I'm not
American
sure.
driver. Yeah.
Yes, he spent basically everything that he got. So
Yes.
it's not how much you have. Is the cost of doctor expenses and
Hmm.
is beyond the imagination.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true.
Interesting.
We should take care of our life. It's not just money at the end of the day. Yeah. An
Hmm.
investment is like just like Bruce said, and investing in food, you're paying more expensive. You're paying more for healthier food, but you're investing too.
Right.
You're
It's an investment.
it is an
For the
investment.
things that we put in our body to maintain our health and our livelihood and our life, it may cost a little bit more in the front part, but it's going to pay off in the long run. We say pay off in
Yeah,
the long run.
Yeah, but
that's
let,
true.
let, let's just mention a curiosity here in Canada. If you buy a raw food, you don't pay taxes. if
Oh
Really?
you
my God,
buy
it's so amazing.
if you buy processed, you pay 15 HST, I think the name of taxes. Yeah.
Mm.
If you go to buy a chicken, no taxes. Roast chicken, 15% more. So
Yeah, this is
Mm.
crazy. This is crazy good. I
Interesting.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Canada is different than the United States. They have different rules and regulations, and I think that's an interesting concept. Raw food is no tax, but
no
the
tax.
things that
Yeah.
you buy that's processed and cooked, you have to pay a 15% tax.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool.
Great.
It's an incentive to have the raw food, and you make it yourself, or somebody else can make it for you. But very good. Well, listen,
Nice.
guys, we're going to wrap it up today. We do want to say, oh, here's some books that are recommended by Chris.
I'm sorry.
But this is a way for you guys to engage. Okay, this webinar was put together for you guys to be able to get involved in listening to a discussion with Brazilians. Okay, talking about investments or other topics. We have other topics from time to time. I think the last one was with immigrating with a visa, right? The owner of this, it was with the lawyer out of Orlando, and she talked about immigration with the visa, right? That was our last one. Yep. Okay. So, guys, we appreciate you coming out tonight. Thank you, Anderson. Thank you, Chris, for your time.
Thank you.
And we hope that we hear from you guys again in the near future. And it's been a great time just having this conversation to share with other Brazilians. So, thank you very
Yeah, it
much.
Bye
was
bye. Bye
amazing for being
bye.
here. Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye, you guys.